And he didn't have to vote for it. The votes were there without his vote. He could have said to Speaker Pelosi, listen, give me a chance this time to vote with my district. Because you don't need my vote. You've got enough. But he didn't take that opportunity. When I saw that, I knew how he was going to vote on the health care bill. And as you know, twice he voted for the health care bill. So we look at those things added to that card check and the stimulus bill, and we could go on and on. And we understand that the reason why he has a 96% voting record with Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama is because that's what he believes. And that's how he's going to continue. Now that gives the opportunity for me to be the night and day difference from him, because my record in Congress was the absolute opposite. And that's why right now we're leading him by 10 points. The generic Republican in this district is leading the generic Democrats by 6 points. That's that question, if you've ever been polled, they say, if the election were held today, would you be more likely to vote for the Republican congressional candidate or the Democrat congressional candidate? And right now, the congressional Republican is leading generically by 6 points. I'm leading the generic Republican candidate by 5 points. My closest competitor in the primary. And remember, and I'll say this several times because this is the key question of why you should vote for me instead of any of my 2 other primary opponents. Nice gentlemen, very sincere Republicans. And yet I'm the only proven, principled conservative in this race. And why do I say that? Because I'm the only one that's ever taken a vote. And my vote's been consistent for 18 years of elected office, both in the state legislature and Congress. I've never voted for a tax increase. You can look at the record. I've co-sponsored and supported 26 tax cuts that passed in this state back in the 90s that began to turn this state around from the malaise it was in under Governor Blanchard, where we ended his term with $1.8 billion budget deficit. We went to town and cutting taxes, putting workfare into place instead of welfare alone. We did things like restructure government, downsize, or right-size, we call it that. We turned our economy around. When I was term limited in 1999, I left with a over $1 billion rainy day fund and a surplus, not a deficit. And jobs were coming back to the state as opposed to leaving as they are now. That's the difference in this race. We are leading the primary opponents by at least 40 points, and the closest one to us is 8 points behind Mark Schauer, and he's running 10 points behind the generic Republican. So if you're looking for the person who has the best opportunity to defeat Mark Schauer and return this district to conservative principles and represent it that way consistently, I'm your candidate, and I ask for your vote. Beyond that, in every meeting like this, I pull out my brain on my hip, and some of you have blackberries as well, or something like that. And the only one that tells me where to go more, well, no, I shouldn't say that, my wife. This one tells me to go plenty of places. But in this blackberry, this brain on my hip, I keep some things, and one of those items that I have in notes, I read to every group that I speak to, basically. And I read it as opposed to just stating it for you, for the object lesson that at any point in time, should you give me the privilege to represent you again in Congress, and you start to worry that, hey, wait a second, I'm hearing some things that doesn't jive with what Walberg told us when he was running. You can come up to me and I give you full permission. In fact, I asked you to do that. To come up and say, hey, pull that brain on your hip out. Go to that position statement that you read to us. We want to talk about it. And here's what I will have said to you that you can judge my actions in Congress on. I'm Tim Walberg, and this is where I stand. I stand for our founding principles: belief in God, our Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights. I stand for freedom. Freedom to start a business, freedom to choose your doctor, what you drive, what you eat. Nice to know that when you're here tonight. And please do eat and drink. To drive and to carry a gun, to teach and raise your own children, and to live your own life. I stand for personal responsibility. Let's reward and encourage common sense, good behavior, and discourage bad behavior. And I stand for limited government, limited regulation, limited spending, limited taxing, and limited borrowing, whether it's from China or any other place. And then finally, I stand for life and all other American traditional values.